3 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few defenses I would start this week. The first one's the Buffalo Bills. So the Bills in week 2, what a fantasy day they had on that game. 6 sacks, an interception, 2 fumble recoveries. And if you play fourth down stops, they had 4 fourth down stops in week 2 with the Miami Dolphins. And right here, I think it's going to be another good game for this Buffalo team. They versed the Washington football team. We know Taylor Heineke, he's looked pretty decent the first couple of weeks of the season after Ryan Fitzpatrick went down in week 1. But this Bill team, they get pressure on the quarterback. They get the big stops when they need them. And they just a ball-hawking defense in general. And right here in week 3 in Buffalo versus a mediocre offense in Washington, I think they're going to get to Heineke a couple times. I think they'll have a couple interceptions. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him get a pick 6 in this game. So right here, definitely start the Buffalo Bills this week. The next defense is the Carolina Panthers. So the Panthers, they've been a hot pickup this week. No doubt about it, with a slam dunk matchup versus the Houston Texans, who obviously lost Tyrod Taylor to injury. And they just don't got many playmakers in general on that offense. So David Mills will be the starter, a short turnaround. And this is a Thursday night football game. So right here, this Panther defense, the first couple weeks of the season, they've been a solid unit anyway with double-digit fantasy points the first few weeks. Week 1 versus the Jets, 14 points allowed, 6 sacks, an interception, and a fourth down stop. In week 2 versus the New Orleans Saints, only 7 points given up, 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 2 fourth down stops. So right here, week 3 at Houston in the Thursday night game, indoor game, faster track, and I think they're going to get to David Mills early and often, this team, because like I mentioned, this Houston Texan team, I know they look good in week 1, but that was the Jacksonville Jaguars. And right here, this Panther team's playing well, like I mentioned, and they're already off to a 2-0 start. And I think they're going to make it 3-0 here in week 3. And they're going to make some big plays. They're going to get to Mills. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him get 5 or 6 sacks, 2 or 3 turnovers caused, and then possibly finding the end zone, as well as this Panther defense. The next defense is the Denver Broncos. I would start this week. So Denver, they've been off to a great start as well the first couple weeks of the season. And right here, they got a dream matchup versus the New York Jets, who obviously, once again, a different season, different quarterback. The same results so far. A lot of turnovers. We saw Zach Wilson last week throw 4 interceptions. I don't think he'll throw that much this week. But this Denver Bronco team, they're definitely going to get into the backfield over there and cause havoc on Wilson. And I think he's definitely good for 2 or 3 turnovers in this game. And like I mentioned, this Bronco team, they want to get off to a 3-0 start as well after 2 victories at the Giants and Jacksonville. And in this game, I think they get 2 or 3 sacks, 2 or 3 turnovers, and they're only going to give up 13 to 17 points. So I definitely like Denver as a start this week. The next defense I would start is the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals, they were in a high-scoring ball game last week versus Minnesota. 27 points allowed and only a sack, but this week they got a good matchup at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know Trevor Lawrence, he could go out there and make a few plays, but I think this Cardinal defense, they're going to get to the youngster early and often. They're going to make him make some mistakes, and they're going to make him one-dimensional. This offense, they're going to get off to a quick start, and before you know it, they're up 10-14-0 to start the game, and that's going to make Trevor Lawrence under pressure, and that's going to make him have to throw the football a lot where mistakes are made no matter what kind of rookie quarterback you are coming into the league. So the Cardinals here, I think that's what's going to happen. They get off to a quick lead and they start teeing off on Lawrence, and that's where the mistakes will happen, and I think they find the end zone with either a special team touchdown or a pick 6 or a fumble recovery. Here is Arizona, and I'm big on them this week in the 5th and final defense. I would start this week's the New England Patriots. So the Patriots, they've been playing good defense as a unit the first few weeks of the season. Week 1 versus Miami, only gave up 17 points, 2 sacks and an into. And week 2 at the New York Jets, only 6 points allowed, 4 sacks, 4 interceptions, and 2 fourth down stops. So right here, this team, this is how they think they're going to have to win ball games this season. And I totally agree with it. Their offense ain't high octane. Obviously, there's no more Tom Brady there, but they got a pretty decent rookie, in my opinion, in Mac Jones. He is the Patriots, but they're going to have to win these games on defense. And in this week, they got a good matchup versus the New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston, we know throughout his career, he's good for a few turnovers a game when he's really got to throw the ball a lot. And I think that's going to be the case again in this one. I think the Pats, they'll get 2 or 3 turnovers in this game, 2 or 3 sacks, and they'll hold down this Saint offense to probably anywhere from 14 to 20 points as well. So that's a few defenses I would look to start here in week 3 of the fantasy football season.